Good morning, everybody. I'm not sure if I'm live yet. I think I am, but I'm going to talk just a minute until I know for sure that it shows that I'm live. I'm still waiting here. If you see me, there we go. I think I'm good now. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Monday. I am actually between homeschool evaluations right now. So I had a few extra minutes before my 10 o'clock. I thought, let me just do my live now. I thought I'd be going strong till 2 today, but I have a little window. And that's the beauty of being able to do this business. I can just fit it into my lifestyle. I love that. So I want to talk today about the oil that got everything started for me, the Breathe essential oil. It is the respiratory blend. Breathe is the oil that you will use for anything respiratory related, coughs, colds. You can use it actually for sinus. It opens up your passageways. Um, you can put it, you would use this topically. You rub it on your chest, rub it on your back. You can diffuse it. I have my diffuser always going here. Um, and just when you breathe it in, it just opens up your nasal passageways. I've heard people say that this oil helps with snoring because, again, it opens up the passageways. You can just put a little bit topically, like right before you go to bed. You can kind of just put it there. Be careful. Always be careful you don't get oils in your eyes, like right around your nose and stuff. And it just opens up your breathing passageways. A lot of people like to use breathe before they exercise. I talked about deep blue before you exercise for your muscles, but the breathe oil is actually good before you exercise to help open up your passageways so you can breathe better because you know how important breathing is while you're exercising. So everything with that Breathe respiratory blend, I wish I had had it in front of me. I don't have it with me. I know it has eucalyptus in it. It has raven sarah. It has peppermint. It's a blend of different oils. This is an oil you would not take internally, and you won't need to because, like I said, it supports respiratory health. So I always have stuff next to me here because I work so much from here. I made myself a little inhaler, and this was with the Breathe blend. So I can literally just, oh, I smell it, just breathe it right in. It smells so good. It gets up into the nasal passageways, it gets down into the lungs. So I made myself an inhaler. I have my lungs. This is like a spray bottle where I'll just spray my lungs. My husband will help me put it on my back. And it's the Breathe blend. That's all it is. And then I can diffuse it. So the reason I use Breathe so regularly, I did not know. I knew I was autoimmune, but I did not know I had a lung condition. Since I was a child, I would get multiple respiratory infections. I don't know when this started for me. I just knew I was always prone to bronchitis. And even when I got married, a month after I was married, I was knocked down with pneumonia. I'd get, or not pneumonia, bronchitis. I'd get that maybe two, three times a year. Then, for people who don't know me, to share my quick story about the Breathe oil here too. I've been sick most of my adult life. If anybody was sick, I would get what they had. I would have, like I said, about three respiratory, serious respiratory infections almost every year, maybe three or four sinus infections almost every year. I was on antibiotics all the time. I was not raised with the knowledge of natural anything. So I'm sure that I built my doctor's house with six sons. I've got six boys. We were always at the doctor for something, but especially me. I was by far the sickest. So for me to be homeschooling six children and be sick so much of the time, I just feel like my life was just constantly trying to run a marathon through molasses. That's kind of what it felt like. Just functioning every day was just hard, but you don't have time to be sick when you're a mom. In the last maybe 8 years, I started getting pneumonia, and I'm really young to get pneumonia. I started getting pneumonia in my 40s. and I had had pneumonia 4 times. And each time I had pneumonia, I would be literally down for um, 6 weeks to 3 months. The worst time was the 3 months. I literally had a fever every single day for 3 months, multiple rounds of antibiotics. Um, I mean, I was at the doctor. Finally, towards the end of that 3 months, the doctor said, I think you have cancer or something. There's just nothing we can do for you. Um, how I got better, that's a whole nother story. And again, I'm not making any medical claims. I'm sharing my own personal story. People at church would bring meals to me because I had 6 kids, and when mama's down, who's taking care of the family? So for years, my wonderful church was bringing meals, and they just knew, okay, she's got pneumonia again, helping me cope. Um, One lady from my church said, Diana, have you ever heard of Breathe or essential oils? And I hadn't. I didn't know what essential oils were, other than I thought they smelled good. She says, here, and she had half a bottle of Breathe. She sold that to me. She said, if you get pneumonia again, use this. And I was like, okay. So I had it up in my bedroom. When I did get pneumonia for the fifth time, I was just so done with being sick. I was so done with antibiotics, which made me so sick. I'm allergic to almost all antibiotics. The one strain that I can use is one of the weaker ones, so it didn't work for me as well. Um, but they would just make me feel so sick. And I understand now it kills all the good bacteria in your gut as well. And it does, it totally messes you up. So I didn't know any other way to go. So when I was diagnosed the fifth time, I told my husband, it's like, I'm not getting on antibiotics. I was done. I was so done. He said, well, what are you going to do? You have to. I said, well, and I showed him this little bottle of Breathe. I said, I'm going to use this. And he said, well, what is it? I said, I don't know. He said, well, how do you use it? It's like, I don't know. I didn't have anybody to teach me. So literally, I must have looked ridiculous. All I did, I took the bottle and I laid in bed, holding it to my nose, just breathing it in. I knew enough. Okay, it's respiratory. I put it on my chest. My husband put it on my back. I didn't understand. I didn't know what a diffuser was. Never heard of that. Again, I was so green. This is 5 years ago. I just laid in bed, breathing it in. No medical claims. My story. Um, 3 days later, oh, well, my husband said he did not like this at all. I said, give me 1 week. Just give me 1 week. And then, because I had the prescription, I wasn't going to fill it. I said, give me 1 week. And he thought, well, goodness, I'm sick. 6 weeks to 3 months was my average. All right, 1 week. 3 days later, and really, I didn't know if this thing was going to do anything. I was procrastinating. I did not want the antibiotics. Um, so I laid in bed breathing. 3 days later, my fever was gone, which was incredibly unusual. Because again, I wasn't doing anything different than I ever had done. 5 days later, my coughing was gone. And I could not understand it because I'm telling you, breathe is all I was using. This is not typical. This is not I'm not saying that if you did this you'd have the same result. I don't know why I had that result. And I was so utterly blown away by this. I had to understand, what is this miracle bottle? What happened? I had no idea. So I started going to drugstores, Vitacost. I accumulated like 20 bottles of oils because I thought these things are amazing. Again, I didn't understand this at all. Then a doctor did a summit, an online summit. There were over 30 experts on the use of essential oils. I watched every single one. I have a notebook full. I took notes because I had to understand what this was. That was my beginning to the whole world of essential oils. I eventually called down to this doctor. That's how I got connected with Charlotte, who did the video on the lavender touch. She was working for the doctor at the time. And she started talking to me. Oh, God bless you, Charlotte. I picked her brain, just question after question, because I had to understand what this was. finally, she was so gracious and patient with me. She lives in Florida, didn't know me from Adam. Um, Finally, after months of just really making her work and help me understand this, I started with doTERRA, started using all these oils, had all of these amazing testimonies. My life is completely changed. I am hardly sick anymore. And when something comes like my abscess I talked about, I know what to do. So, this was my intro to what essential oils are, how powerfully they work. And that's where I've since gone back to school for functional medicine to understand how the whole body works, interrelated instead of separating out systems, treating the root of issues. So that's my story. I just wanted to share that because there's a lot of people in this group that don't know me, but the breathe oil was the introduction. I since realized and been diagnosed the last 5 years with autoimmunity. One of those being a lung condition, because autoimmunity will spread in your body if you don't kind of put it to sleep, because there's no cure. So my Hashimoto's spread to my lungs. So I'm very proactive in supporting my lungs. If you have any lung condition, you need to have this breathe oil. Hi, Amy, because this is really powerful to support your lungs. So like I said, I use this regularly by just making sure I'm inhaling, I'm bringing healing to my lungs. I'm supporting my lung health, diffusing it. I diffuse with On Guard during the day. I can diffuse with Serenity or Lavender at night for restful sleep, but also keeping those passageways open. I fully contend that God will heal me someday, but in the meantime, I do what I can do to support my health. So thank you for bearing with me and hearing my story, but I just have to share that story. And the last thing I'll say is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why. After this amazing transformation in my health, people started to notice she's not sick anymore. I had energy, I had vitality, I had vibrance. The supplements we'll talk about another time. That was another transformation. But the thing that started to break my heart, I would share with people, I use this, or I'd start to share, try this for this or whatever. And so many people said, "Oh, I love doTERRA. I use doTERRA all the time." And these were some of the same wonderful people that were bringing meals to our family when I was sick all the time. And they cared so beautifully for the family. But in my mind, it's like, why didn't you tell me about essential oils? And that's okay. I mean, that's okay. But for me, because I know how radically my life has changed, I will be the one, if I hear somebody is sick, I can't not reach out to them and say, "Hey, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm really not. I'm trying to help you." Because I wish someone had told me, I would not have suffered nearly as much as I did. I would have been able to be there for my kids more than I really was. I just was functioning so much of the time, but to have the quality of life to just do what God's called you to do. That's why I do this. That's why I'm investing so much time in this group, and we're as a team we're giving so much to you because we all have the heart. We want you to be helped. We want you to be served, and if we have something that can help you, we're going to be there to do it for you. So that is what this is just my spray bottle. The respiratory blend, if you have any lung condition, make sure you're using that. If you have any questions, please reach out to either myself or whoever invited you to this group. That's what we're here for. Comment. I forget my question, but comment on that. I'm going to do my evaluation now. And thank you for your time in watching this and enjoy the day. And I will see you later in the group. Bye, everybody. I think I'm done. Doesn't want to end. I think you stopped.